The average nigga in the hood think he Warren Buffett. I had enough of it. Through the first 50 hit me. Police can come and get me, but somebody coming with me. Check 1, 2, if the shit don't stop. In another 50 years there won't be no hip hop.
You heard it here first. Live from Audio Coke News, Legacy City. Yeah. Pop. Raw Digger.
3, 2, 1. Yo, what up? Your man Aksdalite. Welcome to the Willy Bobo show. In a house of hits as far as I'm concerned. Me and my man Ken Hart, Kreative Toons. Thank you very much for welcoming me into your home.
What's up?
Check it out. We're going to talk about the inception, where he's from, his background, and all of that. So, yo, why don't you tell the people who you are, where you from?
Definitely. Well, originally, I'm from Puerto Rico.
I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself, man.
Okay, and then I moved to San Diego, to California, about 13, in the 80s. That's when I really got heavy into the music stuff. My pops ended up getting an Akai 612 or 612 sampler from a Cluckhead for $20.
What?
I didn't know what it was. He said, "Here, you need this."
He gave you a great piece of equipment to start off with, man.
And
how long did it take you to learn how to use it?
Oh man, I immediately went to my producer's house. Hey, we got us a sampler now. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started learning how to produce.
How old were you at that time?
I was about 15 years old.
Word?
Yeah.
Man. So
I was still a lyricist because I had a producer that was cold,
Right.
Doc DV is fresh from San Diego. He's now in Georgia now, but yeah, that's where I learned a lot of my early tricks, with hardware.
Word. So when you came from PR to here, what was your first introduction to hip hop?
Ooh, first introduction was probably when I was vacationing. I was coming back and forth to Connecticut. I was visiting my grandmother in Connecticut. And so now I'm in Puerto Rico, let's say a year later, and the album finally reaches Puerto Rico. And I'm looking at the album cover. Look, Mom, Ronald's on, my cousin's on here. I look at the picture, I'm like, none of these look like Ronald. I was like, what? Next vacation, man, I clowned him. But that's what got me started. Really.
So, what was it like in San Diego with the hip hop scene when you got out there?
Oh, San Diego was weird. Like, it was only gangster music allowed. Like, it was very seldom that you can get out there and do something different, creative.
I understand.
And that's my thing, So I had a group called Beyond Comprehension within the big umbrella, which was DKM, Dago's Crush Militia. Dago's Crush Militia was considered a gang. We even got pictures, on newspaper articles, and they say, oh, you might think it's a gang, but it's a rap group. It was 12 of us with a DJ that's 13. We was the Wu-Tang in San Diego.
That's what I was about to say. You guys were really, really deep.
Right. So we had cassettes, I would say albums, but we put out cassettes. Right. We put one cassette out, Dago's Crush Militia, and it was called Doing It Like the Mafia. And then my group, Beyond Comprehension, released the album called Rap, Rhythm and Poetry. So we was the different one. I was the one always trying to do the creativity and trying to stay away from the gangster stuff, but it was in our face. That's where we lived. That was our environment, so we couldn't avoid it.
Do you remember the first rhyme you wrote?
Ooh. My first rhyme actually was a poem. Somebody heard a poem I wrote, and they said, hey, you should put this to music. That's
typically how it starts, though, right? Typically how it starts. Now, noticing that somebody would take you for the average black man, also being Afro-Latino, did you have troubles being out there trying to be a hip-hop artist, getting flack from Spanish cats? Because I do understand that in California, a lot of times it's not peace. Between Mexicans and blacks.
Actually, Southern Cali, the Southern California scene, San Diego area, Mexicans and blacks, they get along very well.
So what was high school like with that hip hop thing?
I was trying to be creative. I was trying to stay away from that environment, even though I was in that environment. So therefore, it had to come out because there was a lot of battles we was in, and you can't come out there talking peace when somebody's talking about ripping your head off. So, and we did have rivalries. We used to push our cassettes. I remember drawing Beyond Comprehension, dozen of cassettes on the weekends, and my partner, he's doing the same thing, doing graffiti, Beyond Comprehension, writing the titles of every song on a gold marker so they can really read it, and going to school, come back empty the first day, so we was hustling.
I love it. Getting out of high school, what was your journey like?
When I finally graduated, I looked around in my environment, I was like, man, if I stay here, I'm gonna be in jail, or I'm gonna be under the ground. I said, it ain't gonna take that long, So I decided, I need to go far away from anything that I've done and start all over. The only way I could do that, to relocate, was military. My mother didn't want me to do it. I didn't even tell my friends I was gonna go.
How many years did you serve?
I did 22 years and 7 months.
How much abroad?
8 years total. The year in Korea, the year in Korea again, the Guantanamo Bay tour.
Let's talk about Korea, man. Hip hop in Korea. Did you see anything?
Oh, Korea was so receptive, very receptive, to the point to where once they found out I could rap, there was this one bar called the King Club. All I have to do is walk into that club and the DJ will hone in and point at me. And if I give him a thumbs up, I get a draft automatically at my table. Where I sit, the draft's coming. That means I got to rap.
Of course.
Right.
Bridging all that music together, right? What was your standpoint, being a West Coast guy, but being an open-minded hip hop guy, right? Where were you on the Biggie Pac beat?
I was on Pac's side, and Biggie, I loved Biggie until Juicy came out. Oh shit!
So yo, man, what's your opinion, man, on the state of hip hop today?
I just think it needs to. I don't know. It's kind of hard because it's driven. It's not like it's got its own lane. It's being made that way, but it's too much violence, too much negative.
But that's what we gave them though. We started that though.
Of course, yeah. That was the NWAs, and that was our era, and that's what we listened to while we was driving, and the kids were listening to that.
Yeah,
but not everybody did that. I rode with my kids. I promise you, I had the clean versions of everything.
Right.
I never did that.
Right.
I could never do that to my kids. But I don't want them to curse, so how would I play something that curses? Or I don't want them to curse.
Yeah, I kept my little mans away from that mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or listening to that kind of shit. Because we have to understand, even though NWA said that they made the music to make people aware, but responsibility wasn't taken of you are influencer.
Right, that's what the parents for, to say you can't listen to this until you able to digest it.
To digest that shit. Yeah, so it was on a lot of people.
Exactly.
So now that you make the antithesis of that music, do you feel that it's been a success for you?
I believe so. Just because it gives me a peace in mind and my soul, knowing that nothing I'm putting out here now. I wrote some stuff that was bad back in the days, but now I know better. So I'm putting stuff out that's positive, that's going to teach, that might innovate, might make somebody do something, not the other way around, make them be ready to throw their life away and go get locked up, go sit down somewhere because some BS,
Looking back now, being older, you know what I mean? And that's a blessing.
All right, now let's go, man. Let me show you the booth.
Cool.
All right.
It's a nice joint. And of course, he made sure that tall people like he and I
definitely
have space in this joint, And this is nice and tucked away, man. I love the way that you have completely lined everything, and the sound quality in here is great, guys. I will say that. It's really, really good.
Yeah, there I got the Newman, the TLM 102.
And is this a two-way compressor?
Negative. That's just that's the mic. I got it going from there. It's going to the Avalon M5, and that's the mic preamp that gives you that strong vocal presence.
Gotcha. So depending on the type of vocals, or if you're doing singing versus hip hop, do you interchange these mics?
No, well, it depends. I have several mics, but I would probably capture on this and change the mic preamp. Since I have several, I just go through the patch bay and
Make some
run it through
simple,
this amp because this one does better with highs. That's my first trick to try to do. Now, if I got to replace the mic, then I'll replace the mic. It's just easiest turning this and
of course,
bringing the next one. You know?
Gotcha, man. Dope as hell. Checking it out, the booth, of course, on the step up. My man's got wheels on this joint that go round and round. So, of course, if we need to take this piece up out of here, heads get down. Ooh, nice. And I love the hinges on it. That's incredible. And don't fuck around. You see. All right, man. So, look, Ken, man, I'm like, what are we looking at here? Because again, to me, it's just a keyboard. What are we talking about, man? Because is this a part of this? Like what's going on here, brother?
All right, well, I guess we'll start from here, from left to right. All right, this right here is the Matrix Brute. It's by Arturia. And this is like the grandfather, big daddy of synthesizers. You can create your own sound with this, manipulate it however you like, however you can picture, as long as you figure it out, learn how to, This one's, these have sounds already preset, and it's a synthesizer as well, but it's made by a different company. If I'm correct, this one, Take 5 is Sequential. Yeah, this one's made by Sequential. And it's a different texture, different sound, and more, how should I put it? More new age, more ambient. Yeah, more ambient.
Okay. So how about our second rack here?
Okay, on the second rack, we can go with the Korg Mini Log. That's an older version, very popular. I'm just going to skip because there's another Korg here. And this is the Korg Wave State. And this one is about the same age they came out. Those came out about 10 years ago, I believe.
Same functionality?
Well, one's a Wave State, which the Wave State has wave tables for sounds. The Mini Log has synthesized sounds already in it, samples in it, and you manipulate those.
Okay.
And then if we go up one more, well, I guess we got the Roland JDXI, which is a smaller keyboard. I caught it at a pawn shop just because I was curious because it had the vocoder, which I still ain't tried it, but it's there when I feel the urge.
Right.
And then we got drum machines. We got the Arturia. This is the Behringer RD8 or DR8, I believe. Yeah. And then there's the Lin drum.
So what do all these do?
If you remember the 808 drum machine,
yes.
This is a replica of it by Behringer.
Okay.
Respect. Yeah, we got a little sound. Probably turn this up a little bit. That's the kick drum, snare drum. You hear the 808.
Right.
You heard that many a time.
Many a times.
And then the Lin drum is a replica of, it's an LM drum, but it's a replica of the Lin drum, which is another one of the first, probably the second or third drum machine that came out. So it's a replica that Behringer did. To buy the original, it's probably like about $4 to $8 grand. So I'd rather pay $600 for it.
I'll take that. Now, when it comes down to that 808 replica machine, I mean, are you impressed with it? Do you feel like it compares to the 808?
Oh, definitely. Sounds are definitely real similar. And it's made from the same circuitry. It's analog. It's got the same. You can tune it. You can pitch it. You can play the drum loop I want, record it in, and turn it off.
How about these massive instruments over here that we're looking at?
This is another drum machine from back in the days, the Yamaha RX-7. Very sought out for. It's got great sounds, like the pitch mode. Used those back in the day.
Okay.
That type of drums. Then we got the Juno D. That's by Roland. That's an old classic, probably around the same era as this, but this is a remake. They remade this.
What years would you say these are?
This one was in the 80s. This is a remake of the original one. And this remake was made probably about 6 years ago. And then we got the DeepMind 12, also by Behringer. That one is a synthesizer with 12 different polyphonies. That's why it says DeepMind 12. The older version has 6. So this was when they came out with more polyphony. So you're able to hit more notes at the same time instead of, if you only got 3-note polyphony, you're just hitting 3-note chords.
Right.
So that's all you can do. Nothing else is coming, but with 12, you know. And then underneath that, we got the...
Yeah, what can this not do? It looks like it can do any and everything that we can think of.
Yeah, this is more of an arranger. I just wanted it because it was an 88 key and I wanted the full bed.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a flagship called the Montage, but I was cool with this, the Montage. This is the mid-level and it has great sounds. Let's see, it's just organ.
Nice.
All kinds of sound.
Wow. Can you also make drum tracks on this?
Definitely, they all have programs. That's one kit. There's a trap kit. Trap kit 2. Hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Just that easy, right?
Just start playing, grooving.
Just that easy.
Mini Moog. I mean, the Minotaur is made by Moog, and that's for sub basses. If I want to get that real gritty sub, that's my go-to. This is another version of the Juno D right here, but it's a miniature one. I got it just so I can, you know, play around with my modular equipment, have my MPC live somewhere else, take the little gear.
Gotcha. And of course, this is where I'm so familiar of seeing you work. What do we have here?
Yeah, there we're gonna start, I guess, with this side. This mostly my effects. We got the Chroma console, which is for effects. Anything I run through it, I can give it delay, choruses, reverb, swells, all kinds of creative things, character, movement. Then next to it, we got an older piece called Aksdalite Pro. This came out probably in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. It's an effects processor. It can do crazy effects. So when I'm running maybe these keyboards through it or the drum machines, I make them hit there first before I bring it into these two up here, or either one of these two. Those are my audio interfaces by Apollo. Then underneath that is my mastering deck, the Tascam.
Right, familiar with those.
Yeah, DA3000.
Familiar with those, yes.
And I got 2 patch bays that pretty much almost everything's hooked up. I'm still patching. I actually need one more to finish, but you know, little by little. And then underneath that, I got the Neve, Rupert Neve Orbit, which is to give it that big Rupert Neve mastering console sound. And it's got the textures, the colors, you know, just like the big board, but it's in just one rack.
That's nice.
Basically, I take my tracks, bring them through here. That's called a summoning. Sum them there, and then bring them back out with the color. And now I got the real sound. So that's how I do some of my mixing and mastering. You know, the sound might be in there and be like, it needs something. I'll bring it to my Neve, bring it back out, send it with the color I want. Boom, let it sit.
Does that make your stuff come out, quote unquote, radio ready?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you use it right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So not everything needs it either. You know, sometimes if you bring your input in, if you bring in good stuff, you'll have good stuff. You know, you don't have to fix it. Bring in garbage, then I might have to use it. You know, try to fix it.
Right. And then that puts a heavier load on you.
Exactly.
Trying to clean up some trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are here again, you know, with the magic box is the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yo, my man was working on some crazy stuff here. When I say crazy, I mean in a good way. Natural sounds. Yo, Ken, give me a little something that you're working on right here, man.
Oh, yeah, that pulled up right now. Let me see. This is that beat I was working on. Hold on. So the last thing I was working on was the sampling sounds. And basically, I've been collecting all kinds of jugs, water jugs, 5-gallon jugs, juice jugs. If it's a plastic jug, I was collecting it just so I can one day, which was today, was come in here and sample them, record every sound, and make different sounds with it. Here's the first one, which is a juice jug. Make sure I can hear it. Yeah. And that's just one jug that I messed with. I got 24 tracks of it.
Henceforth, the t-shirt. What does the t-shirt read?
Kreative Toons.
Let me see it, baby. Let me see it, baby.
You know.
All right. All right.
And
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
forget to go to the .com. That's where the first sample pack I got out right now. And there'll be another one coming. And also going to be putting up beats for sale on there as well.
So where is let me get all of the info to be able to find you. The people need to know where.
www.kreativetoons.com.
Indeed.
Kreative with a K and Toons is Toons.
Absolutely. So on the website, man, do you have pricing for studio time? Do you have information on, do you teach education classes, anything like that?
Definitely. The website actually has the merch that we selling, the songs, the beats. I don't put the instructional part there because that's more of a personal thing. I kind of, see who really wants it. I don't want just anybody hitting me up to teach them.
Understood.
It just don't make no sense to me. Like, you got to be about this life. I'm not wasting my time.
I'm on that. I'm on that like a hornet, for real.
Yeah.
So what's the latest album coming out, man?
Man, my latest album is probably, the next album's going to be, it's called Chords, Synths, and Licks. And that's going to have me playing the keys, playing chords, synths, plenty of synths in the room. And the licks is going to be my guitar player. And he goes by the name of Grumpy Guitar.
He's a very nice guy, though.
Definitely.
But he plays a grumpy ass guitar.
Yeah, it's just his thing, But yeah, he's a great player. Anything I put in front of him, he figures it out. Within seconds, he's got something in his head, and he's great with it. Can play anything, rock, country, you name it. Motown. He's got a Motown soul.
Total that.
Yeah, anything I put that has soul in it, he's right in the pocket where he needs to be, and I ain't got to say much, but all right, cool. And one thing I didn't show you was this is the 11 rack. This is where he plugs his guitar to. Once I turn this on, this has effects for guitars. This is all it's made for. And he plugs right into the guitar input, and I got his recordings.
Boom. There. So of course, everybody, when it comes down to the Willy, before my MCs leave, they always got to give me something. So being as my man Ken's got some things going on, I'm not going to hold him to a 16 right now. We're going to split that in half. My man's going to bust me an 8. Kreative Toons.
Nah, I hit him with a 16, man.
Hit him hard.
On many occasions, the life of a dealer begins with a key. Chop it up, bag it up, you know what's next. Push it out to the fiends, and seize the money. The struggle is on to the early morn. Daylight, advice, never bring a knife to a gunfight. Why da dang, why da dang.
Hey.
Whoa, listen to my 9mm go bang.
That boy there?
Yeah, I ended it with that KRS,
Kreative Toons. Aksdalite, Ken Hart, Kreative Toons. Thank you all for stopping by. Peace.